because that man dies, that child's cut off from his
Yeah,
terrible
so
grandparents.
it's un,
And I don't think that's right. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
people should have a
Padre,
right
yeah.
of access.
That's why.
che muere.
So
I
yes,
think,
it is.
madre
yeah.
ya no
And it's the
deja
same
ver
with half brothers and half
sus abuelos.
sisters.
yeah.
El lado del
It shouldn't
padre.
be allowed that half sisters, half brothers,
No,
or
no,
something
la
couldn't get
legislación
in
actual dice
contact
que
with
tiene
That's
derecho.
right, yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
En
I think,
Chile.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pero no estamos hablando de la legislación actual, estamos hablando de lo que estamos discutiendo aquí.
Yeah, I think that we should change that.
Yeah.
Who proposed this? Yo hice un comentario.
I proposed it.
And now you've changed your mind.
I've changed my mind.
But
Mm-hmm.
I think we all agree that has to be changed.
Yeah.
And what we should be saying is that
Bueno, yo digo que
other people should have a right of access to
tienen
the
Yeah,
derecho.
right of access and
Nosotros
information.
también. Así que vamos a
That's what I
cambiar
suggest.
esa frase.
Significant others.
Well, yeah, yeah.
La pregunta es, ¿cuánto derecho?
Bueno, no vamos a precisar, vamos a solamente a reconocer la posibilidad. So, we have each parent in their time of residence with the child shall have the right of final decision over who the child sees and what they do. We must change that,
Yeah.
and we must say,
Grandparents and other members of extended family should have right of access to the children. Or children should have, yeah, if you want to put the other way,
Yeah, yeah,
children
yeah.
should have the right of access to grandparents,
Mhm.
aunts, uncles, and significant others.
right, so, can you say that again? Grandparents,
No, put it around the other way. Children should have the right
yeah,
of access.
children should have the
The right of access.
And information.
Of access
of access
and information.
and information, access to and information about,
Or information from. Access to information.
and information about, from, okay, go on,
Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and significant others.
from parents,
Oh, well, that's too much significant others.
yeah, I think so.
That's too much.
Is it?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can have somebody who is very important in a child's life.
Yes, you can, but I
Who's
think
not
that
necessarily a blood relation.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want extended family.
I really
Yeah.
don't think you should
Because-
start, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
to,
Oh, yeah.
to, to members of the expense,
Of the
and
extended
information
family.
from members,
Of the extended
Yeah.
family.
members of the extended family,
On both sides.
Mhm.
In other words, both on the father's side and the mother's side.
sides, yeah.
And so for the other third parties, the other third ones and significant third ones states what's already here.
Yes.
So this is what's now. That's for the other. So we have the extended family. That's 4A to my. That's they have a right on information and access. And for the other
So-
important third parties, the parent who is in
Has
charge
to
has to consider.
Parents have the
Have the right of final decision.
right of final decision over who
Over children's contact with other parties.
children's contact with other parties.
Wouldn't it be good to say that that right should go both ways, not just the children, but the grandparents and others have a right to the children, and the children have a right to them, rather
That's
than,
the first sentence with
Yeah.
the grandparents, yeah.
you know, so everyone has rights, not just the children.
Yeah. You're right. Just.
But not one or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you could start with the children.
Children should have the right of access. That's what conferences are like. To
They have a right of. Yeah.
children should have a right of access to and information from members of the extended family on both sides. members of the extended family should have the right of access to information about children.
Yeah.
Members of, and grandparents and ex-members
Yeah.
of the family should
So
have
just
the right
repeat,
to access to
repeat it. Okay, so can you say it to me? Repeat it.
What have you got there at the moment?
Yeah, the formulation you can formulate it shorter, right? Make it something like wederzijds and
Vice versa.
yeah, reversal, yeah. Use that word.
And
yeah.
vice versa, yeah.
Okay, next thing then. Yes, I am sorry, I am taking over a bit, aren't
You're doing a great job.
Right, the next sentence in adoptive parents, okay, in number 4,
Yeah.
is the child retains the right to know both natural parents of both receiving and sending communications to them with proof that this has arrived.
But that's not about step-parents, that's about direct
Natural
parents.
parents is meant the grandparents, parents of the parent.
The-
Is it here? I think
Yeah.
it's meant. Or? Didn't you?
Yeah, well, is there another paragraph we can insert that in?
Well, that could be.
Is it
That
meant
could
to
be
be
one of
the
the basic
grandparents here?
principles.
No, we're
Then
talking
it's
about
on its place.
supposing somebody in my position,
Mhm.
I don't have the right to send letters.
Mhm.
Well, I have the right to send letters, but I don't know whether they've arrived.
Okay, Julian, could that not be a fourth principle up here?
No, I don't want to add to the. We've got enough. We've got 3. I
I
don't.
think that's a very basic principle as well.
I don't. I think it's a subsidiary principle. It is written into the. I don't. It is subsidiary. It is written into the principles. It is implicit in the principle.
It's implicit, yeah.
I don't
But I
get
still
the
think
point.
it's very important in certain circumstances.
I don't get the point.
So do
Just
I.
perhaps you explain what it's about. It's about grandparents or parents.
It's about
or
parents.
well, parents have the right of 50-50 shared residence. So what's it about then?
It's about, say, if a parent has been accused of abuse.
Then he still has the right of receiving and sending communications.
Yes. Or rather, no, the child has the right this time, not the parent.
Oh yeah, retains the right to know about. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the idea. But it's not the right paragraph then.
No.
Okay.
Now you suggested putting it in principle.
I suggest putting the principles up at the top.
Tu comprends ça?
On peut, oui.
L'enfant.
No, I think
Enfin, on va communiquer
add it to the
quelle que soit la situation.
add it to the chapter child abuse.
Hold
Or
on a sec.
C'est d'avoir la preuve de cette communication.
Tu peux répéter ça, quoi que soit la situation de child.
Que l'enfant a le droit de communiquer avec ses parents, quelle que soit la situation, leur situation.
To communicate. Can I just say, with this is a much better French. This is why I like writing these things in French, whatever their situation. Right, it's a much shorter sentence. The child has the right to communicate with their parents, whatever their situation.
Right.
Mhm.
Where do you put it?
Yeah.
It's nice. I like that.
Yes, no.
That's a good
Yeah.
sentence.
Okay.
So, I think we can still keep that in 4, maybe, if it's said like that.
Well, you see, the heading, it doesn't fit into the heading. Because the
It's
heading's
significant
about,
others.
I know, the heading's about others other than parents.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
The whole paragraph
Anywhere
about people
else
other
it can
than
be
parents.
put?
It can be put, under child abuse, perhaps.
Not
No,
really.
Because
it's
it's an-
not. It covers
Yeah, okay,
other
it covers more.
situations.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The interest of the child.
Yeah.
We put it under the interest of the child at sea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
9. Wait a minute.
9. It's getting 1, eh? It's
Yeah,
not 1.
yeah, it's now
It's
1.
1.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it under the interest of the child.
Yeah.
Ça, en fait, on est en train de réécrire la Convention
You found
internationale des droits de
this?
l'enfant.
C'est écrit, non?
Yeah.
Dans la convention.
En gros, ouais.
En gros, même pas spécifiquement.
Si. L'enfant a le droit
He said that is included in
I
the...
think, bon, je sais pas, je l'ai pas en tête, c'est con parce que
Oui.
en moyen, j'ai tout en entier. C'est impossible.
Right, child has the right to communicate with...
Biological parents or?
Don't start that again. Parents.
Yeah, well, we have to define this.
No, we
Yeah,
still
it's-
didn't decide to define that. but-
We put that...
I don't know.
We had to do
It's,
that
it's
first.
at the end. It's the end
Oui,
of
si,
the...
dans la convention c'est pas
Always,
l'article.
it's not clear what we mean.
Yeah,
It will become clear when we get to the end.
yeah, should do the definition in one. I said it before. Start with the definition in the principles or before the principles. But okay, perhaps someone works it out that way.
Well, can we just do one other little
Yeah.
thing, which is also the definition? Because this definition is becoming clearer as we talk through the different situations. You want to put it before, rather than as a footnote. But normally these things are put as footnotes,
Yeah,
definitions.
To have to use your terms consistently.
Yes. Yes, so we are trying to do so. Actually, thank you.
Afterwards.
No, not afterwards. We're just becoming clearer on what the terms actually are as we discuss the situations. That's
Yeah.
what I think, anyway. Right, number 5, which was number 3. So number 3, government ministers, family affairs for women, etc. Okay? You've got that.
¿Qué pasó con el número 9 o número 1? Me interesa perder el mismo.
What's with that point? What's the idea?
I'm going to tell you the idea when you found it.
Oh,
Yeah. Right. Voy a explicarte un ratito. Right, if you look at 5C, 5C, ¿no es cierto? Después de...
À quel numéro là, c'est-
5. Oh non, c'est pas ça. Alors. Ministère des droits de la femme, ministère de la famille.
Ah, bah 3, mais tu es avec les nouveaux numéros que vous avez changés ou les anciens?
On est avec...
c'était changé. Ouais.
Oui, c'est que le tien n'est pas le même que les autres. Pareil. Parce que... Ok.
Parce qu'il est en français ou parce qu'il a pas été?
Parce qu'il a été le premier écrit. On n'a pas ajouté tout.
Ah d'accord.
Alors, le numéro 3 là-dedans.
C.
So we got C, and you
5C.
can read the above, 3A and 3B, etc. You got that. So if you read that, and I will translate it into French and Spanish. Bon, ce qui n'est pas écrit là, c'est que tout ça, c'est relation avec les enfants jusqu'à l'âge de 12 ans. À partir de l'âge de 12 ans, le choix de l'enfant devient progressivement plus pertinent dans les termes légaux. C'est ce qu'on a écrit. Entonces, hemos
That's
hablado de esto.
the old text, yeah.
And the newspaper. Hemos hablado
And the news of
de ayer anoche de la cuestión de la mayoría y tú tienes una palabra, la edad de emancipación. Y vamos a hablar de esto ahora. Y tú me vas a plantear en primer lugar tu pensamiento según lo que tienen en Chile. ¿De acuerdo?
Pero ustedes, antes de entrar a eso, ¿vieron el número 9 o 1? ¿Lo trataron o no?
Sí.
Yo quería hacer una acotación que dice: solo si el niño está en riesgo de daño significativo, deben las autoridades públicas, que van la familia, tomar carta de la decisión. Este riesgo
Públicas, tomar carta en las decisiones.
en las decisiones, tomar
Sí, pero no hemos pasado por eso todavía. Después. Hemos agregado algo al final, pero no hemos hablado de esto.
Ya, vamos entonces al punto esto de la
Ya.
edad.
De la edad de emancipación, o sea, aquí, ahí. Anda pues.
Bueno, aquí está diciendo que los niños menores de
Here
12
it's
años...
saying that, ¿quieres hacer tu presentación o yo te lo hago?
¿La tienes clara?
Más o menos?
Entonces diga.
Right, I mean what George said is that he doesn't think that it should be 12 years old. He thinks it should be. They have two ages in
I think we shouldn't discuss it first, but first we should consider to let it out, to scrap it. And then when we can't agree with that, to scrap it, then we should have the discussion, because it's quite a difficult discussion.
Una solución sería de borrarlo, de suprimirlo, de frente, esta parte del párrafo. Y que es complicado, vamos a pasar mucho rumbo en hablarlo. Y en realidad tal vez tienes razón, así que si borramos esto, es mejor, no hablamos tanto. ¿Entiendes?
So that means, I think, that means that for the general things, the definition of children in this paper,
We don't define it, or we define it
we
at the
didn't.
bottom. Yeah.
And we let it do what's usable, and then it's
Yeah.
so.
No definimos en este papel lo que es un niño, o lo dejamos al final. La definición del niño es lo que viene a ser importante. Y no definimos dentro del mismo papel esto. Es mejor así. Si me dices sí, estoy de acuerdo, así pasamos mucho menos rato en hablar de esto.
Ya, pero explícale el concepto por lo menos.
Okay, very shortly I will explain the concept to you anyway, which is that they have an idea of the age of emancipation at 16, for instance, when they get married and leave the house, and the age of majority at 18. And he has a good point, I feel, because whilst the child does not have a real freedom of choice, it giving them a progressive ability to give an opinion can be dangerous. And this is, as you say, a very complicated area which we really can't enter into at the moment, or we will enter into it in the definitions section and not in the body of it.
Yeah.
Et je vais t'expliquer que c'est très compliqué ce que je viens de traduire là.
Ouais.
Donc lui dit qu'il y a un âge de consentement, par exemple, où on est libre parce qu'on va se marier avec quelqu'un à Chile.
Mais c'est l'histoire d'émancipation.
Oui, oui. Et tout ça. Enfin, l'idée c'est de remettre ça
plus tard et pour avancer ailleurs et après on reviendra dessus.
Oui.
On va répéter ça. Je n'étais pas tout à fait sûr.
Any comments? Is that okay? We'll get
We
rid of
scrap it out, yeah.
Okay.
Number 3, see.
The number 3, c'est correspond.
Entonces borramos ese texto.
Yeah, it's good there.
Okay. We're still on 3 now.
Well, government minister, family. Well, my personal thing is that it's got the wrong bloody name.
The heading's wrong, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say, the heading's wrong.
So what do we call it?
Uh,
¿Cómo lo denombramos? Eso de Ministerio de Mujeres, etcétera, porque no tiene nombre correcto.
see, what you've got underneath mightn't be a bad political, legal context.
Los ministerios gubernamentales deben ser...
Can I just interrupt? El nombre de esto, por partes, o sea, el número 3 que tienes ahí,
número 3,
ya, los ministerios. Él
State involvement.
propone el contexto, mira,
Sí, mira.
el contexto político legal como el nombre de esta sección. en lugar de tener gobierno, ministerio, etcétera, etcétera. ¿Ok?
¿Ya?
Tu comprends ça? Et lui, il dit que au lieu de dire ministère, etc., etc., blabla, qu'on met le contexte politico-légal. Comme, oui. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Now, what was your question? ¿Qué era tu cuestión ahí? Sobre una otra cosa.
Es que aquí a mí me parece que tú estás poner simplemente Ministerio de la Familia.
Bueno, no vale.
Qué democracia, no vale.
Es que puede ser de mujeres o puede ser de otra cosa también, tienes que nombrarlos. No puede ser solo, porque puede variar entre países.
Es que yo estoy en desacuerdo con lo que existan ministerios para las mujeres.
Puedes estar en desacuerdo o en acuerdo, existen a sí mismos.
Solamente estábamos viendo aquí,
Como existen, a sí mismo que estés de acuerdo o no,
no importa.
no importa que estés de acuerdo que existen,
Ya,
porque ya existen.
ya. ¿Contexto político legal le pusiste?
Sí,
Ya. Bueno.
right. Next.
There's something
Yeah.
I've been thinking about. I don't know if I'm going back on something, but it seems there's a very basic principle that we haven't said, which is parents have a right to know their child. You know,
Right to know their
Well,
child.
if you get somebody pregnant, do you not have a right to know that child? Rather than
There are.
We've certainly been talking about this a lot. Did we not have it included in some way in one of these paragraphs?
To some extent.
is it covered somewhere?
Okay, well that would be an individual adult. No, it
No,
wouldn't.
the thing you put in the interest of the child, what does that say?
The interests of the child.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
You added something in there, didn't you? About the parents. Remember the thing that percent didn't suit within there.
The interests of the child. The interests of the child will not be viewed as a pre-primary entity. The public authorities of the family should be involved with family. The interests of the child has the right to The child has the right to communicate with his or her parents, whatever the situation. The child has the right to know who their parents, to know their parents.
Yeah. And the parents the right to know which child. That's his question.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Ouais, d'abord, tout enfant a le droit de connaître ses parents, ça va être l'article 8 ou 9 de la Convention internationale des droits de l'enfant.
Oui, mais ce qu'on fait là, c'est notre convention,
Oui, non, mais...
sans référence extérieure.
Oui, non.
Donc,
Juste.
he says that you should note that is something like Article 8 of the
Convention.
United Nations Convention.
It is too, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, what phraseology do we use?
Well, it's yeah, it goes from this point of view of the child. The child has the right to know both parents.
Yeah.
Whereas
Says-
Sam is saying that parents have the right to know their child
Yeah.
as well. It works
Yeah.
the other way as well.
And
Again.
that considers fathers.
Yeah.
I think
Mothers
maybe.
mothers will know their child anyway, but
Yeah.
fathers may not.
So, is it children have the right to know both parents, and both parents have the right to know both know their children, and
No,
vice
that's right.
versa?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Children have
And that gives
the right.
everybody in the family system rights again,
Equal rights.
rather
Yeah.
than one person getting rights, like even the children. Again, it tries to share the rights.
No, both parents.
Yeah, because
vice versa.
it's a kind of
Versa.
a right of having a relation, and a relation is always reversal. So it's perhaps it's more a right of the relation than a right of the persons. That's what you mean, eh?
Yeah.
I should add that what we're doing here is this isn't beautiful language, but we hope to have covered almost all the elements,
Mm.
which is the basic importance of it now. and afterwards it will be revised.
Mhm.
O sea, aquí no es el lenguaje es medio feo a veces, pero ya tenemos cubierto los puntos claves. Okay, so what next? We were on 5, weren't we? We were hopping around. We were on 3, 4. Oh God. Equality at work.
Yeah. There's no big discussion point in it, except, I think, only that some people wanted to get it out, the whole paragraph.
Yeah, but I've managed to talk them out of that.
I
Yeah.
think it should be in.
And for A, we suggested not both parents but both sexes. But I think
I've changed that.
you've changed that. Yeah.
The only thing, just to relay what George said to me,
Mm.
let's see if I can remember.
4. 4 is 4. 4 of 4.
4 is 4. Yeah. 5 is getting 6.
Yeah, I mean, apart from whether it always applies in different countries, he said it shouldn't apply because it wasn't strictly part of the rest of the principles to do with equal parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because he didn't fully understand this was as a declaration, rather than a set of restricted principles about equal parenting. But I think it is valid to have it in there because it's a good selling point.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
This is 10 is 10, isn't it?
Yeah, 9 to 1 and 10 is 10.
right, so we move on to number. I think we're doing really well. We're getting some more points here.
Mm.
Contracts between parents.
There's no discussion about it at all. No. What? Is it?
What is this number 2?
It's been, yeah, 6 is
6 is 9 over
gone to 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we've added quite a lot to this.
Taken out of stuff out of 8. Oh, it used to be 8 or 3.
So we've taken stuff from paragraph 8,
The old 8.
the old 8.
The old 8, yeah.
We've taken A out of 8.
Mm-hmm.
So was it A? No,
Yeah, A
no,
was-
no, it was B.
B, yeah, that's right. Because
¿Qué
there are-
número?
O sea, en el número 8, B,
Mm-hmm. It's going to.
los padres tendrán acceso a consejos y acuerdos, contratos, ¿no es cierto? Ay, ay, ay.
Debe por la numeración.
Los padres tendrán
Ah,
acceso a consejos. 8, B. Segunda página.
por los números nuevos, no los antiguos.
Los antiguos. Estamos haciendo todo por números antiguos. 8B.
8 ya.
Esto está transmitido al antiguo 6, los contratos entre los padres. Ok? Je ne sais pas si tu as ça. Et c'est pas très grave.
Ouais, parce que là, je sais plus, on était au 6, on est passé au 8 là. Mais on est qu'un au 6.
Ah oui, c'est vrai.
Tout à l'heure, tu nous as
Non, non,
annoncé-
on est au 6 là.
Là, tu me parles. Octo, c'est bien 8.
Oui, mais c'est qu'on a remis ce qui est
En
qui était
8, en
en
8B
8B,
dans le 6.
dans le 6.
Ah ben voilà, il suffit de nous le dire.
Oui, c'est vrai.
Ils auront accès à des accords, contrats structurés qui seront dans tous les cas,
Oui, oui, c'est ça.
que ce soit.
C'est ça.
Ça va dans le 6.
Oui.
Ça va dans les contrats entre parents, ce qui est effectivement logique. Si on parle de contrats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we got 6A is still the same.
Yeah.
except we have added that they may also incorporate clauses in contracts involving spousal maintenance.
Spousal maintenance.
Ouais. La manutention de l'époux, je sais pas comment. Quand on paye sa femme,
On ne paye pas, c'est
oui, on la paye.
pas bon.
Non, mais il y en a certains qui veulent payer sa femme et la femme elle veut bien. Et donc, s'ils veulent, on sent qu'il veut bien payer à sa femme, ils peuvent le faire dans un contrat.
But what has it to do with this paper?
Oui, personnellement.
What's it with this paper? I didn't buy it.
Spousal maintenance?
Yeah?
Do you know what that means?
Yeah?
Right, we just added that as something that they can write a contract about.
Yeah, it has a lot of things I can write contracts about.
Exactly.
But it hasn't anything to do with parental equality, or?
It does, in that if one parent is put in a position where they're not financially able to
Follow a
take
career.
50-50 residence because of financial circumstances,
But
that
then,
can happen.
yeah, but I think you shouldn't define it as spousal maintenance, but as a children's maintenance.
But
You
we've
have-
got that included already in the finances.
Yeah.
Right,
So
in the-
that's
So we put that in
that's it.
finances, but in the contract, because there is a lot of sensitivity from certain people, not you, about wanting to have money because you have devoted your life to your children, etc., etc. And we want to mention it. We have mentioned it in contracts between parents because these are freely entered contracts. They are not part of the basic rights.
I don't see why you should mention it. It gives
To make
misunderstandings.
people, no, it doesn't, because we have only said they can, if they
Yeah.
wish to, include clauses involving spousal maintenance. We haven't said they must, or they do, or they will.
Well, I would say it would be better that they don't do it in the same contract as in which they
It doesn't say they have to do it in the same contract.
No, but at least it's in the same principles. I don't like it, but okay.
It's, yeah, you don't like it,
No.
other people,
Mm.
I mean, I would say that, yeah, I don't know. I would say there are two different types of people, and we need to recognise that one type of person, not you, has that right to include it in the contract.
Yeah, I don't deny the right. I don't. I
So
just
that's
don't
all
see
we're-
what it
that's
has
all
to do
we're
with
sa-
the
that's all we're
paper.
saying. All we're saying. Tu vois? On l'inclut.
Ouais, mais de toute façon, le principe, c'est qu'à partir du moment où il y a un accord entre les parents, toute forme d'accord est acceptable du moment qu'il y a l'accord des deux parents.
Oui, mais on peut signer un contrat quand même.
C'est bien leur problème. S'ils sont d'accord sur quelque chose, si le père est d'accord pour donner 20 briques par mois à sa femme, c'est son problème. S'il est d'accord. Il ne
Right.
met pas le couteau sous la
Yeah,
gorge.
well,
Right, so long as he doesn't place
Okay,
a,
meet
place a
them.
knife on the neck
Mm.
to make them sign it, it's okay as far as he's concerned.
I don't think it does that, does it?
Next, what's that? The rest of it.
I'm sorry. I think there's something contrary in it, because main principle 2 says parenthood must be based only on the child-parent relationship, not that between parents. That's the main principle. Then in the principles, the specifics, you go to say something about what makes it confusing again, that you don't
Don't
separate it.
clearly separate it.
But it's such a
Right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, okay, yeah.
it is such a fundamental part traditionally of how parents parented their children and related to each other financially, isn't it? We are talking about big shifts, and this would be part of it, I think. That we are not to presume that one parent would automatically be financially responsible for the other spouse.
Not just for the children, but for the other spouse.
This is, I think, a big
Not
shift.
automatically, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you
it's
know.
too big shift.
It's a big shift for us anyway in
Yeah,
Ireland.
yeah.
You know, to change. So I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
it's such a
I
big.
agree with your logic, but,
Yeah.
but it's a very black and white logic.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody on a television program will criticize it in your terms,
Mm.
and then we'll stumble.
Okay, go on. Okay. Just has to be clear that that's not clear.
Shut up.
No, I do. I was thinking perhaps we could put something at the top, like contracts between parents to help.
Okay,
People-
I
to
mean,
help
the place to
people
put it in is
parenthood.
number 10. Look at number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where we should put it in.
Oh God, no! It's going to be a very long number 10 then.
That's only one sentence.
It does come as number 2. You see this?
I know, yeah.
I suppose the idea. Yeah, we haven't couched it in the right terms. There's a contracts between parents. Facilitating contracts between parents, facilitating equal parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word for facilitating?
Accommodate.
Capacitating.
Promoting.
Qu'est-ce que tu dis? Qu'est-ce que tu cherches?
On cherche un mot pour dire quelque chose qui promotionne, qui prom.
Je sais pas comment ça se
Oui.
Vas-y, redis toute l'idée.
Les contrats entre les parents, lui, il ne veut pas que ce soit comme ça, parce qu'il dit que ça n'a rien à voir avec le lien parent-enfant qui est dans les principes avant tout. Donc, parce que c'est les liens des liens entre les parents qu'on parle là. Alors, il faudrait dire quelque chose facilitant.
¿Qué punto estamos hablando?
6. Los contratos entre los padres.
So what's the question now to?
Just thinking maybe just a word.
Mhm.
Aquí lo que nosotros decimos es que deben ser ratificados por el
Oh,
tribunal.
Dios mío. Sí.
Es imprescindible para que las consecuencias después tengan carácter ejecutivo, no se puedan obligar a la otra parte a obedecer.
Ya hemos hablado sobre esto. Yo te he
No tiene
explicado que.
Ponerlo ahí.
¿Cómo?
Tienes que ponerlo ahí.
No, lo hemos hablado. Yo te he explicado que cada país tiene otras normas en este sentido. Por lo tanto, si yo lancé esta idea entre ellos, la reacción va a ser, ¿por qué diablo vamos a tener más trámites? Y por lo tanto, como ellos quieren evitar y no agregar por encima estas cosas, no queremos hacer esto.
Ya, ¿cómo quedaría entonces?
Quedaría que ustedes en Chile ponen una reserva, que en esto ponen su firma, y luego una reserva que se aplica solamente en Chile. ¿Entiende? Como en otros países no va a ser aceptable, pero en Chile sí, van a poner una reserva particular al Chile. Y ahí se queda, así como tú quieres por tu país. One? Right, okay, we'll leave that then. It's just contracts between parents, and if nobody's got a proper word, like facilitating or capacitating or aiding,
How would it read?
I don't know
the word
what you
facility?
want to find.
contracts aiding by parentality.
Oh,
for
it's
instance.
about the head after this thing.
Contracts aiding by parentality would be a suggestion.
It's about the head.
It's
About what we're discussing now.
Yeah.
It's about facilitating an agreement between parents.
Sorry, what facilitating agreement between parents?
Not facilitating contracts between parents.
I think it
You
should
read
be.
Leah?
Huh?
You read Leah? Sorry, it didn't make sense that one. What facilitating contracts between parents?
I don't think it's about facilitating. I think it's about respect for contracts which citizens, parents in this case, make.
Accommodating contracts between parents.
The word biparentality, promoting biparentality, contracts, contracts between parents which smooth the way to cooperation between parents.
Why not?
Discretionary, elective contracts.